All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Supervisors. Thanks for coming on this November 11/26. I'll call the Board of Supervisors into session. First on our agenda, proclamations, which I don't believe we have any. And second on our agenda is approval of the minutes of the meeting of November 13th.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Agenda meetings, minutes of the meeting of November 13th are approved. Next, we have the consent items. We have just two. First consent item is a quarterly report of the auditor for the fourth quarter for fiscal year 18. And the second is a quarterly report of the auditor for the first quarter of fiscal year 19.
I was looking to see if Denise was around. I will make a motion to approve both consent items A and B.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent items. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Consent items are approved. Next, we have proof of publications. Looks like we had some property to the city of Dubuque in Cascade Pioneer, Dyersville Commercial, and the Telegraph Herald.
Motion to approve the proof of publications.
I'll second the motion to receive and file.
We have a motion and a second to approve and receive and file the proof of publications for the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, the next is we have two public hearings on vacating the county right-of-way. Anthony, you want to give an overview, and then we'll open up the public hearing?
Sure, we have three different roads that we're vacating some access. These come from requests we've had over the last year, and we're just kind of bringing these forward now and getting approved on the same meeting. The first be here on Farley Road, at Loix Road and Farley. We're vacating in total 2.002 acres. Three different tracts of three different parcel tracts here would go to three different landowners. So that's the first one on Farley Road. Gives you a visual of the aerial there. Excess right away that we're not needing in this corner anymore. The next one would be on Ryan Road. And it's kind of an interesting little piece of county easement. You can see how the right-of-way is consistent, running along Ryan Road, and then all of a sudden jogs in, goes this way, and then comes back. And not sure why that is, but it's causing difficulties for their plat there. I think they want to sell it or something there, so they want to kind of clean that up, and I would be in agreement. That's something we don't need. And then the next one is on South John Deere Road. We have quite a bit of excess right away on the west side of John Deere Road. They're at Highway 52. Two different tracks here. Here's the center line of John Deere Road, and so it's quite wide through this area. So we're going to vacate these two parcel tracks. That's kind of what it looks like right there. There's some extra wide right-of-way in these areas right here.
Hold on, say that again, which one? I'm trying to follow that again.
So this is Highway 52,
Okay,
and then South John Deere Road.
okay.
This would be Davis Construction in this area.
Mm-hmm,
And then the Heritage Trail comes through right here.
yes, it does.
This is just an extra wide right-of-way area that's useful.
And that would go to whom?
That would go to two different Davises. One, basically Davis Construction.
Is that an old aerial? Isn't there a parking lot there now?
There is.
Okay, where's the parking lot? I'm trying to. Yeah, if you can. Parking lot's there, so maybe you can't tell on this one since it's really hard to see. I guess what I was getting at, I always thought that parking lot was not very well placed. Okay, you would agree? Because I think it's for the Heritage Trail.
Correct.
And
The
they-
way to get to it is to cross.
Exactly.
We gotta give them the right
So
to put Heritage Trail.
why, so just a thought, and I haven't discussed with this conservation for, is that if we could get an easement through, is that your property? That, no, or is it an easement through there to get to the Heritage Trail, then the parking lot would have value versus either trespassing or going on a very busy road.
Trail runs right.
Yes, goes through, yeah, that's,
So actually,
correct, but I'm talking about to get to the parking lot.
yep, and that's all.
Has anyone ever approached that to you? Has anyone ever,
No, they haven't. That area
would that be a good idea?
is all swamp right there.
Agreed, you have to build it up a little bit, but right now that parking lot, you can't, people, that's why they built the parking lot, because people were parking in ITC's area, and they were parking along the road, and the road is relatively busy, so they built the parking lot there, but you still can't get to the trail easily. Wouldn't it make sense to have an easy access to go right, you know, and obviously might be late, but maybe we'll save it for public hearing. Okay, keep going.
I have a question. What is the size of both of those?
One is .709 acres, and the other one's .44 or 411 acres.
They're a little bigger.
I did check with Brian Preston, Conservation Director, to see if he needed this extra right of way at all, and he had no interest at all.
So this is just an easement we have right now?
Correct.
So we don't own the property right now? Okay, we just have an easement to, when did we acquire the easement and why?
We have the overlying easement, the landowners have the underlying title.
Why did we acquire the easement for this property?
It was probably dedicated years and years ago. That's
Okay.
usually how most easements were put in place.
Okay.
It was dedicated to the public.
Maybe we'll talk, any idea of how that easement came about?
Johnny Road used to,
Oh, okay.
and then the bridge,
And they never,
they shifted it over.
okay, so the easement's been there for a while.
With,
Yeah,
with railroad.
because that was relatively new. That was last 10 years ago, maybe 8. Okay. All right,
So that's
proceed.
all.
That's it?
State code doesn't allow us to sell these properties or get any reimbursement back from,
If it's not titled ground.
We don't own, we just have the, what,
well, that's not necessarily true, because like Farley Road, we just paid pretty much full price for land out there, and now we're giving away a couple acres of land that we just,
But we didn't buy the land, we bought the easement rights.
so
which
that's
is
what I'm saying.
a different situation.
Tell me more about that. What is the conditions of the easement that we have? What are the condition of the easement rights?
So state code allows us to purchase easement in the name of the county and for highway purposes. We can do anything on them, you know, within highway limits. We are not allowed to really put up buildings.
Okay.
That's a permanent structure. So
What
you
about a
should-
trail?
Trails is, yeah, would be considered a part of a highway function.
Okay.
But as far as, yeah, we had value, we paid value into the easement, but we can't sell easement back. It's not title ground. If it was title ground, that's a different story.
Okay, so maybe we'll open up the public hearing and we can further discuss this unless anyone has direct questions for Anthony. We'll take a motion to open the public hearing.
motion.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to open the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are in public hearing related to this easements. Anyone like to speak related to this? Please go to the podium, state your name. And so if not, I'll have a question and then we'll see. Does anyone want to speak related to these easements? So I'll have a question. Oh, yes, sir. Please go up to there, state your name. Thank you for coming.
Joe Jarding. I'm the one on the Y-13 Farley Road. When they came to us and wanted to move the road, my dad, there's ground we owned over there already, so I don't know why, when the road was built years ago, and we said, well, we sell all that to you, and they wouldn't take it, so we already own some over on that side that would just add to that. So the 1.6, I don't see how it's all giving it back to us, and we already had a little, it was very small, but the road moved over quite a bit now. I mean, it wasn't much that we had over there, but we did have some over there before that.
Yeah, but what we paid was full price for what, $10,000 an acre, or was it 6,000? I mean, so, I mean, it's.
I don't think it was 10,000, I would have to
Well,
go
probably
back. I think
6,000 or
that's so
better an
long, I
acre.
mean, that road took so long to do, it was probably 6, or, I could tell you 6,000 on the land you bought, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, that's real money that the county put out, and then we're just giving you your ground back. It just,
But some of that 1.6 has to be ground that we had in.
no, I understand, I get that,
That's all I wanted to point out.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
I'm Ryan Davis, Davis Construction. The 2 parcels of land, the one is closest to my house, that's kind of a hill and serves no real purpose to anybody but me. The other one, we have a secondary access. We have a secondary access to our business because the county gave us the old Gardner's Lane Bridge that's pretty much fallen apart and it's gonna deteriorate real quick. So with that being said, that second route going into our business, I'm thinking what you're thinking, you wanna try to put a trail through there, we have enough people already trespassing on our property, and we were gracious enough to give the railroad for the Heritage Trail. I just don't want any more, you know, more people, more trespassing.
Anything I would do would try to alleviate that, so.
Okay, it can be open for discussion on that, but just keep in mind the 2 different parcels, the top parcel you probably,
And you mean that in the top and the lower parcel, and they're separated by the Heritage Trail?
correct,
Okay.
correct.
And so,
Yeah, yep, that's the separation. But
Correct.
that's all I got.
thank you. I do have some questions, if you wouldn't mind staying up there, if you want to have a dialogue. Can you bring the aerial photo? I've got mine on here too. And so I don't know if you have a computer there with Google Maps with a newer one, Nathan? I don't, if you can power that up, if you go to that intersection, that's old. That's an old aerial. And so you can't see the parking lot as well. And I think once you see the parking lot and then you see the trail, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
And Brian Preston, he was like shocked that that parking lot was there one day.
I think the city built that.
It did. Isn't it in the county?
I don't, it was way before my time. I don't know if anyone else has it here. And I had thought about this before and I didn't, I just, with this easement, just connected the thought. And so, speak now or forever hold your peace. Right? I mean, so the intent is that the board potentially could, do we have to have another hearing? Or one hearing can resolve this?
One hearing, yeah.
Okay. And so, all right. And so the easements by state code, do they expire?
No.
Okay. Yeah, and the electric, they have signs saying don't park there, and everybody parks there. That's why they probably built. If you can do the satellite as well, and zoom into that intersection, it's right on 50. And, you know, you could just zoom in. No.
1700.
Just zoom in there, so you can see South John Deere Road right there. 52 north, just,
700.
okay. You can, or you can just zoom in. And that's, it's an old aerial too. What do I have? I must have, you're on Google, I'm on Apple Maps. So anyway, if the board board wants to take a look at this, or if you go to your Apple, you'll probably see the maps here. So there's a parking lot right here. Right?
Yep, correct.
There's a parking lot right here.
Correct.
And so if you put a trail right through here,
Trail to the parking lot.
Trail to the,
pathway, the trail to the Heritage It's just an idea. I haven't talked to anyone about it, not one person. I always wondered what the heck the parking lot's here, and then I saw this empty lot, and I'm like, I wonder if we could get a little path there. But obviously you must, so maybe my question to you is, so that would be my first thought. Pardon? You haven't seen our engineers. So maybe my question to you is, what do you intend to do with the land when the easement's released?
The upper property closest to my house, we'll probably just thin out the woods a little bit. Nature, natural. The lower section has higher elevation. See, we're considered in a floodplain, 100-year floodplain. The higher elevation, I mean, we'd sit on it for some time. I don't know. Possibly.
Maybe develop it? I mean, it's a
Possibly.
pretty highly trafficked area.
It is.
And you own the land, don't get me wrong. I fully understand you own the land. You probably pay taxes on the land, right?
No, not right now.
No, not right now, because during the easement, there's no property tax. But you still own the land, and somebody a long time ago made the decision to,
Who owns land where that parking lot is, though?
That's McCain.
That's not even Dubuque County. Is that county property?
oh, it has to, there's a lot there. That's gotta be a public lot.
I have no idea.
Well, the city built it. I remember they built it because Marie Ware was talking about it.
So
And they
built
used
it for an access to their
They used
their
TAP
trail
funds,
that
the
goes.
Trail Act, they used TAP funds from ECIA, from,
So they built that lot so people could park there to go on their trail?
I don't know why they built it, because it's a parking lot that doesn't serve the Heritage Trail very well.
Well, and if it's for their trail, it doesn't serve that because then they have to cross 52.
Correct.
And John Deere, and the arterial to get over to their trail.
It's,
I called. And then it's not an intersection, so we were back and forth,
we actually talked about that, and the traffic count didn't support,
even John
Yeah.
Deere traffic at 3.
well, the traffic counts go by the day. And, yeah, we did talk about it here, okay?
off of Tanzanite or off the,
Right off of.
Well, we talked about, maybe I'm wrong, we talked about Tanzanite and John Deere Road. Okay,
It's just
yeah,
off their bicycle.
Gardner's
Trying
Lane.
to get across or let
Yeah.
the trail be over, so.
I think it was maybe a year ago or so that we talked about that, but that was Tanzanite and John Deere Road. Okay. And I don't think it was you that brought it up, I don't think, but, it doesn't matter, we did talk about it, so. Anthony, you recall?
Yep.
That?
Well, Beacon will have the property lines on it, won't it?
we can probably pull that up too, but yeah. So, yeah, I understand your opinion. So is both of your positions, I'm not sure, you're here and you're speaking, is to grant the easement and eliminate and have full, free, clear access to the land?
That's what we would like.
You would like, okay. Um,
Could we?
I would like to take another step to evaluate a possible connection and use. I also am very interested and sensitive to the business opportunity that the land has. So by no means do I come to this hard, but I think there's an opportunity and I think there's a safety risk, just as you illustrated at that intersection. I live not too far away, so I see the bikers, I see the kids, I see the illegal parking that's occurred. They put a parking lot there to solve it, but they didn't figure the rest of the part out. The parking lot probably would be better even not even to be there if you don't have access to the trail.
You got Heritage Pond where a big.
Agreed, agreed. That's a big parking lot that serves access to the trail very well. So I'd be interested in my other board members if the idea of a possible connection from that parking lot through that easement, and I didn't even know it was an easement, if anyone is interested in pursuing that. If I'm the only one, then I'll lay down and,
I think it's worth looking at. Just,
Let me ask you this, would that help reduce traffic that's going through your property now? Because I think that's,
We have signs up says,
Yeah,
this is private property,
yeah.
this is not trail
but
access.
the people get lost. They start heading that way, and the next thing you know, they're in this little light industrial area, and then they just,
People don't care. They're
or they don't care.
walking in my yard looking
or they don't care.
for- And I'm like, what?
Appreciate your patience, and thank you for living next to the trail.
The other thing, I mean, they pick up after their dog, and then they whip it in my yard.
Oh, that sucks too.
Thank you.
Okay, so one, do we have to, was your intent to resolve both of these with a single resolution, a single public hearing?
Well-
Procedurally, I'm trying to look at, it looks like, well, does anyone have any issue with the Farley easement? Generally, can we,
Each are the standalone resolutions.
Okay.
okay.
These two parcels are one.
So this is just a
resolution, right?
public hearing, thank you. This is a public hearing, we open, close it, we keep it open if we wanted to, right?
This is all one resolution, this one.
Right, for two parcels.
The other two aerials I showed you are two separate resolutions.
Okay. So when it comes to those resolutions, we could visit each one of those. Mary, related to the public hearing, anything unique related to hearing some discussion on this property, would you advise that we keep the public hearing open
Well, then you can't pass a resolution either.
for
We can't pass it today.
You can't pass
for either one? That's what I'm kind of getting at. You have separate resolutions and one public hearing,
There's a resolution for, one for John Deere Road and one for Rank,
but we have one public hearing.
one for, correct.
That's what I'm getting at. You got three resolutions, one public hearing. So how does that work procedurally? If we keep the public hearing open, we can't resolve any of
Can
them.
we keep the public hearing open only for the John Deere Road parcel?
Public hearing is for all three parcels.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, you didn't
So
answer my
is
question.
there any immediacy related to
Okay.
these?
I understand, no.
So maybe,
Well, close your public hearing, but then
for further discussion, and then you open another public hearing?
you'll open another public.
No, see, that's what I was trying to get at, solution like that. Okay. Okay, we are in public hearing. Anyone else like to speak related to?
I guess I just want, for the
Vacating the
Davis,
county
do
right
you
away.
see any value in what he's talking about, having a trail from that?
There's no possible way. But if there's way, and I told him, I said,
Is Rooster Lane a private lane? Private road?
Part of his county.
Way to the trail? All the way to the trail? That's what I'm saying, it's private property, that's what the,
Yes.
does Rooster Lane connect all the way to the Heritage Trail? Does not. So in order to get from Rooster Lane to the Heritage Trail, you need to, in your words, trespass on your private property. That's what I think we need to change. And
We give the property to everybody. And it runs, it cuts our property right now. Trail, you
well,
think.
well, my thought is if
No
you,
possibility
yeah, well, I think we
that
could,
big culvert bridge where John
if you weren't gonna do anything with it, I would assume your position would be you would rather not pay any taxes on it. So, you know, right now you don't with it.
Deere is already.
I agree, I'm just merely stating, I would think if I own the land, I would be looking to figure out how to commercialize that land, and I'm thinking that could be a good thing, okay? But if you're not gonna do anything with it, then I would keep it an easement and not pay any taxes on it. Agreed, you'd prefer to have it, and that's what I'm looking to understand, is your position.
Somebody else buying it,
No one else can buy it.
we may never do nothing.
No, you own the property yet. The county just has an easement on it, so it's, the only people that can sell it would be you. You own, isn't that correct? They still have deed to that property.
Yeah, but they can't sell it.
No
No, they
restriction.
can't sell it,
On their abstract, it shows county easement there.
right.
Um,
But no one can sell that property.
You really can't do anything with it either. That's the other dilemma. Yeah, and that makes sense, I would. And I see that vantage point, I wanna make sure that's clear, and I'm not saying we're gonna ramroad a trail right over this. But this is one of these unique circumstances where other things have been put in play, and I was even unaware we had an easement there until I saw that property, because it's been on my mind quite often. And other people have been trying to solve this problem. There's a reason the parking lot's there, and there's a reason they don't want people taking kids and bikes off relatively busy street for a trail, because it's not real safe. A lot of people's own decisions they're making, okay? Nobody told them they were supposed to park by the ITC side, they just do it anyway. And yes, I agree, another mile down at Heritage Park, there's 50 parking spots, and very safe way to get on the trail. So I understand all that. But I would be interested in what is the community's value of this land related to connecting to the trail, at least having a review of that. And I heard you're open to that?
Yes, I'm open
At
to
least, so, no decisions are gonna be made at this minute, but they probably will be made on the resolutions for these. So we are in public hearing, and so any additional public comments?
I guess if there's interest in that, and I don't know who you would have involved, that I would want you to keep the Davises up to speed and maybe involved in the discussion, being it's on their property. and it's their
100%.
property.
Yeah, I'm big on landowner rights. And at the same time, there are public uses, and the Heritage Trail didn't go without a fight. They burnt bridges,
Yeah,
15 of them. You know, that's terrorism. It just happened to be before there was terrorists. And so there are public goods, and the trail is there, and it's not going anywhere. But I'd at least like to review it, and so whether it's conservation, but at the same point, that's a good piece of parcel that's on a highly trafficked area and could be a very good home for some type of commercial business. Probably not the best place to put a house. There you go. All for economic development. Okay, so with that, maybe we should close the public hearing? It doesn't matter if we open it. If we keep it open, we can't act on any of the resolutions. If we close the public hearing, we can act on each resolution independently,
Why don't
correct?
you ask one more time for any input?
Public hearing, would anyone like to speak on this matter, either one of the parcels? One, that's not made, that decision's not gonna be made at this moment, but when we get to the resolutions, about 10 minutes, we'll have that decision on if there's any action related to those resolutions. Okay. There'll be-
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
We have motion, a second to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Public hearing is closed. Okay, next public hearing we have is the sale of parcels to the city of Dubuque. Who's leading this one? There was a whole bunch of them in there. I know we requested all the parcels. I think, Dawn, you're leading this?
So, this came through, our treasurer, Eric Stearman. The city of Dubuque, has identified 2 lots in which the county owns within the city limits that they would like, conveyed to them. I believe it's to do some water main work. Is there somebody here from the city? There is somebody here from the city to speak to that. In your packets, you had requested information of all the county-owned property within the city limits. So I worked with the treasurer, the assessor, as well as GIS, and they provided some maps along with a list of our properties. Treasurer Stearman did reach out to the city to see if there was any other parcels, if they could identify any other parcels that they would like conveyed back to them. It is my understanding there was no response to that request.
Okay. Maybe we could go on to the city municipal project?
To have it,
Yes.
You want to open the
Would you
public
want to
hearing
come on?
first?
Oh, we have a public hearing, yeah, sure.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to open the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are in public hearing. Sir, would you like to come and speak? If you could introduce yourself, please.
Sure.
Sorry.
My name is Nate Kiefer. I'm a civil engineer and a land surveyor for the City of Dubuque Engineering Department.
Welcome.
Thank you. So I apologize. I'm just a little bit confused about the request for more than just these 2 lots.
That came from us,
Okay.
but maybe we can start with your project. That would be
Sure.
wonderful. If you could give us an overview of what the parcels you're looking to gain.
Sure, so those 2 lots, 113.
Is that it?
212.
Okay, they were mixed with all of our other ones.
That's correct. Those are the 2 lots that the city is interested in acquiring from the county to complete a project that we're doing on Marquette Place. So the Marquette Place project is a consent decree project from the DNR. The sanitary sewer and water main run on the Queen Street side of the houses that are on Marquette. So essentially, they're hanging on the back, there's a sort of a steep hill behind the houses. And so, as part of that project, we're replacing the sanitary sewer because there's all sorts of I&I issues. And so the DNR has given us a consent decree, we have to replace sanitary sewer. So as part of the sanitary sewer replacement, we're replacing the water main. The water main's built like 1921 type water main. So both the water and the sewer come up Marquette Place from Queen Street further to the south, and are dead ends. So we can't loop sanitary sewer because it's gravity, but we would like to loop the water main from Queen Street through the 2 parcels, 113 and 2123, up and between 2 houses on Marquette, and then back into the cul-de-sac area there to provide some redundancy. Because right now, if the water main that comes up at the Marquette and Queen intersection, if there was a water main break down at the south end of Marquette Place, essentially all 15 of them homes they don't have water, there's no fire protection. So the loop up from Queen Street gives us some redundancy in being able to serve that. So if it went down at the south intersection, we could backfeed and still have fire protection and water up there. So we also would plan on, we also would use that lot to access the back, the backyards during construction of our sanitary and water main project. We would build a bit of a haul road, a temporary haul road to get equipment into those backyards and down that line. As you can see how close the houses are together, there's no way to access. So access and water main, those are our proposed purposes for that acquisition. And we have, you said we worked with Don, we worked with Eric. Our attorney's office has ordered an abstract, so we've got an updated abstract for that. So this is part of the process.
Do you know if those parcels were ever attached to another homeowner that owns a parcel? Were they adjacent to the ones in the brown and the gray house, or they just were vacant a long time ago, never built on, and
They
so
were a
people
long
stopped
time.
paying?
I believe in 1919, in the original Audubon edition, those lines went all the way through there.
Okay.
But it was replatted at one time.
Replatted, and then the other, whoever owned those decided not to pay taxes, and that's how we acquired those.
That's how these two were for tax sale, yeah.
Okay. Because
And that's almost vertical there, isn't it?
it's steep.
It's
and
very
scrub.
steep, yeah, it's very, very steep.
Is there,
We can put a water main up anything, but otherwise it's no good for anything else, so.
were you equipped to make any financial offer, or was the offer just to receive for no compensation?
We hadn't talked about compensation as of
Okay.
yet.
All right. The other thing to maybe let you in, the county has had occasional maintenance issues with parcels that we own through tax abatement, usually scrub, not very valuable parcels, that's why they're sitting in government's hands, that cause us maintenance issues. And we'll even get letters from the city saying, hey, you're in violation of our mowing agreements and all these good things. And so then we spend taxpayers' money to go out, take care of all these properties that reside within the city. So when this came up, we thought, hey, where are all these properties? And maybe, when the city wants a property, they want it for free because it has value, but when they don't, they want us to pay to take care of it, and they've refused to accept other properties that are, wholly inside the city of Dubuque. That's where hey, how many are there? And maybe we can go to the city of Dubuque, whatever entity we and said, there's an opportunity to resolve these for the near future here on multiple parcels, not one by one, that aggravate or desire each other.
I do want to point out, though, I was quite surprised to find Sunnycrest Manor's parcel in here.
I think he just did all of them, yeah.
I understand, but that's not one of them that we want to vacate.
Correct. Or the
I know.
property in the new West Campus is included in that as well. So I think they just said all of them. But most of the, if you look through our document, most of the parcels are just random scrub ones that have little or no value, but still we have to conform to the city's codes and ordinances. And so that's just a nuisance.
And I apologize, because I can't speak for those other parcels
Yeah.
as to whether or not there'd be something that we're interested in. I do know that I'm copied on the email chain, and I would assume that at some point we would have, typically what we do when that would come up is we would have, our department managers would sit down and look at each one of those and say, hey, do you need that for a trail? Or, hey, would that be a good place for a booster station for the water department, or whatever. So the departments come together and they would evaluate whether or not those would be, would have any.
Or a
So
third
I'm-
would be,
I would-
hey, this might be just easier for government, that the city takes care of it and not have us hire contractors to go mow a little strip.
Right.
That would be the other desired function.
Or fix a sidewalk.
Or fix a sidewalk. When it's really in the city proper. I mean, it's surrounded by all city.
So I'm assuming that at some point that meeting will happen, we would evaluate those.
And
for
that, we
I'm
would like
sorry.
that meeting now. So that's why we sent the invitations.
I think this meeting will happen now.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if there's a real desire of this board to give up those two properties unless the city of Dubuque is willing to take all of these properties, other properties within the city that county has absolutely no use for whatsoever. We think that it would be a fair trade. And then the city never has to come back to the county to ask if they can use or, you know, one of those pieces of property again. They would be the cities. That's my position anyway.
I generally share, I share that as well, and so it's just been frustrating. We've offered to say, hey, can you take care of it, and it's been just ignoring or no. And so it, as you probably can understand, now that you really need something, you're saying, hey, why don't you just give this to us?
And several years ago, we went through the process of identifying all these properties and made those available to any of the adjacent landowners. And we got rid of a whole lot of them, which put them back on the tax roll for the county and the city. So, you know, we made the attempt to get rid of absolutely as many of these as we possibly could. So anybody that had any interest, I think all they had to do is pay the recording fees to get these pieces back. So there's a substantial number of these that went away, but I think my count, you know, I'm not sure how many are left. There was 28 on this list, but if that includes
There's a few.
some of the other ones that we don't want to get rid of,
Three or
like
four we probably wouldn't want to get
Courthouse
rid
and the Sunnycrest and stuff like that.
Yeah, make sure the
You know,
public record stays.
there is
We're
a- there
we're
is
not
a-
vacating the
Yeah,
the
there is a
courthouse.
number of them, but I think it would be a good agreement for this city to accept all of those ones that we're willing to get rid of for including the two you're needing right now. I think that'd be a really good trade.
And so would you recommend we speak with the city manager related to that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that would, yes. That would
Okay.
be, I'm sorry, I'm just not in a position to accept those.
Understood.
properties
And I want
make
to
a
say you're,
decision- Make a decision on
you're-
behalf of the city.
you
Sorry.
don't have to be the messenger either. Board, do you have any other questions related to this project on the water or sewer?
No, I don't.
Any further
I don't
input?
see a problem with giving those to the city if they're willing to play ball with the county on this.
I generally would
Be
agree.
real easy.
I mean, although I would be interested in the financial consideration. We do pay for other use of city land and city property, so that happens every month. That we write checks for use of land, buildings, space. So there's precedence for that.
Okay.
But that's kind of maybe beyond your scope, I would assume that you're dealing with here.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming in, greatly appreciate it. We are in public hearing, anyone else to speak related to the sale of parcels to the city of Dubuque? So is there just one is there a resolution with this one or not?
No, that inadvertently got left off, so.
Okay,
we
well,
would-
that might be fortunate, and so we could just leave the public hearing open? Close it and then reopen it?
Because if we have different parcels, we'll have to do another public hearing. That
Motion
includes
to-
all of the parcels. not
Okay, so
just
you gotta
these
clean them
two.
all up anyway? Okay, thank you.
You want a motion?
We probably want to close it then.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, notice of public hearings. Next, we have amendment to zoning ordinances. Notice of the public hearing, which will probably be on our December meeting, which is, maybe somebody can help me out. Is it December
9 a.m.
6th?
10th, December 10th.
Number
9 a.m.
10th.
December 10th at 9 a.m. We will have zoning ordinance hearings for for 6 zoning cases. Ken and Ann Kress, R1 rural residential to R2 single-family residential, Richard and Valita Bradley Trust and Greg Blum, A1 agricultural to A2 agricultural residential, Donald and Mary Maloney Foundation and Anastasia Maloney, thank you, Clinic, A1 agriculture to A2 agricultural residential, David and Darlene Curo and Matthew Curo, A1 agriculture to A2 agricultural residential, James and Deborah Kennedy, A1 agriculture, A2 to agricultural residential, and our final one is Julie Hobble and James and Shannon Schultz?
Sharon Schiltz.
Sharon Schultz, A1 agriculture to A2 agricultural residential. That will be on December 10th at 9 a.m. in this room.
Make a
Approve the notice of public hearing.
second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Proof of publication for procurement procedures, 5A. Do we have any?
We do. Make a motion to receive and file.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the proof of publications. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Receipt of bids for a mower and rotary cutting head for the roads department. We have bids to open. And how many bids do we have to open roughly? Just two? Okay, so that'd be pretty quick.
Okay, the first bid is from Mid-Country Machinery, and they're bidding a Tiger, 2019 Tiger mid-mount side rotary mower in the amount of $26,500. $26,500. And final bid, Diamond Mowers Incorporated. It looks like they're bidding a diamond mower, side rotary mower in the amount of $25,159, $25,159.
Make a motion to receive and file the bids and refer to secondary roads for a recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item is recommendation of the IT superintendent for security cameras and related hardware. Nathan, you want to just give a quick overview on this? I think the board's familiar with it, but there are other people that might want to have a general understanding.
So this is primarily for all hardware for internal security cameras of this building, all 5 floors, including sections of the attic. It's approximately 45 cameras, ballpark, it's like 8 to 10 cameras per floor. This is hardware only. We'll be doing the bulk of the install internally with my team. Spirited bidding, had about 8 bids. Raycom was the lowest bid, and that would be my recommendation to go with. They are qualified to sell access cameras, and they've been a good partner with the county for other projects.
Appreciate that. One of my thoughts would be, we had a discussion related to the policy for cameras, which is still in the works. Dawn, is that correct? So it hasn't been resolved?
That is correct.
Okay. It seems like we should have that policy in hand before we buy the cameras to place. That'd be my thought. And if it's not time sensitive, I would advocate we combine those. Worst case, if the policy is revised and you don't use all these cameras, it would be money wasted. It's not likely, but possible.
My only hesitation is that as the default setting, most of these have about a 3 to 4 week lead time, and there's about 10 or 15 of these that have about a 5 week lead time. So the longer we wait to order, of course, that pushes it back. So, we're ready to rock and roll, but if you want to push it off, we can.
Really, maybe next meeting is when the policy will be ready?
Yes, I anticipate that. I sent out an email this afternoon asking for feedback. We also sent out the location maps for the courthouse, so all of the department heads can look at those. Nathan and I talked after that meeting as well. He's going to meet with all of the department heads within the courthouse in the next 2 weeks. So we plan on having the map finalized as well as the policy for the December 10th meeting.
And we had that meeting today with the department heads, and so I would just feel it'd be disingenuous that I said, hey, give us your feedback, give us your review. Oh, by the way, we already ordered all the cameras. I mean, it kind of gives a sense that it's going to happen regardless of what your feedback and review is. That's kind of my thought. And none of the timing has anything to do with what IT's done. They've done a great job preparing this bid. We just didn't have the policy completed.
Dawn, what's the timeline for folks to get back to us?
About the policy?
Yeah, about their input from follow-up to today's meeting.
I asked for it on Friday, just so I had
This
next
coming
week. But I sent this out about 2 or 3 weeks ago in preparation of this meeting, and I did not hear any feedback. So I think this week I saw it as enough time, since they have had this policy in hand almost 3 weeks
So
now.
it's reasonable to assume that if we table this, we'd be ready to act on it at the next meeting.
That's what I anticipate.
What's your thoughts? The likelihood of ordering less cameras is probably not good, right? Because these are all in common areas that really shouldn't have any
Agreed. The odds, the only way this would be less cameras with how it's designed right now is if the board decides to just do a one-to-one swap of the 9 existing cameras, then yes, we would order less. But the cameras right now are all in public spaces. Like, the department heads aren't gonna be able to tell me or tell the board or the sheriff that we don't want a camera here. That's not what the conversations with the department heads will be about.
I respectfully disagree. They could clearly tell me that. That's exactly what I asked for, was their opinion and their comments related to these cameras. And so I would respect that. If they said, I don't want any cameras, that would be feedback that I would want.
Of
Not
course,
saying I'm gonna agree with it, but that's exactly what I wanted, is their feedback on the use of the cameras.
understood.
So I think it sounds like if we can table it for 2 weeks, I think that'd give us time to get the review, get the feedback. You've got a good process, and most likely things will be identical. And then we know that we've gotten buy-in from the department heads for 42 new cameras inside the courthouse.
Well, your count may go up.
It could I'm expecting single digits. If,
Right.
I mean, it's possible the treasurer might want to watch the cash drawers as an example. I don't think it would increase very much. I think these will be very fast conversations. Or I may be surprised. I'm surprised every day in this job. So they may be more open after hearing the board and the policy, and that these are for security and they're not meant for
Freedom of
punitive.
Information Act, that anyone can request the footage.
They're not meant for punitive. They're meant for security.
This bid is a per item quote, to where if you want 5 more cameras, you
Yes.
just up the number, and it's 5 times more the number that they gave you.
Yes, I've spoken with the low bidder, and if we want to add 4 or 5 of the specific one that would be appropriate for that, we just increment it up. It'd be the same price, so.
Okay. I will make a motion that we table this to the next meeting, December 10th. I retract that.
This
All
is
right.
the bids. We need to, no, rephrase that. We are,
No, the resolution is.
okay, thank you.
Do we accept the recommendation of Nathan at this point? Or just wait until,
No action.
wait,
Just on the
no action at all, okay.
You just got on the agenda.
Well then,
All right, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
moving on, I
We'll
guess.
see you in 2 items. There's no plats. Next item is action items for resolution appointments of deputies, assistants, and clerks. And it looks like we have 7A, where are you at? 4 positions, 3 at Sunnycrest, 1 for the sheriff's office. All good and ready to go?
Yes, I reviewed each of those.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution for appointments of deputies, assistants, and clerks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries, resolution is approved. The next resolution is approve and authorize the contract with Raycom for security cameras and related hardware for the IT department. I think this is where you had an idea.
I'll make a motion to table
For 2 weeks?
for 2 weeks to be revisited on December 10th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to table the resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries, the resolution is tabled. The next resolution is to approve the necessary documents to appoint Solar of Dubuque for the solar arrays at the project for the Dubuque County Secondary Roads Department at the Farley Shop.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries, resolution is approved. The next resolution is to approve the vacation of a portion of a right-of-way on Farley Road.
I will make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries, resolution is approved. The next resolution is to approve the vacation of a portion of a right-of-way on John Deere Road. So my thought would be, if there is interest, we would present possibly to the Conservation Board. I think they would be the most likely, since it's a connection to the trail. See if they have any interest, or just high-level view that this is possible. Maybe it's not, maybe the terrain's too steep. Maybe the Conservation Board has no interest. And if so, then I think then we'd probably push the easement back. But if there is strong interest, then we might have a different story. but I'd at least like to pursue that. So I will make a motion to table this, this resolution related to the vacation of the portion of the right-of-way on John Deere Road.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is, the resolution is tabled. The next resolution is to approve the vacation of portion of right-of-way on Ryan Road.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution is approved. Next resolution to approve the snow and ice agreement, 28E agreement with the city of Bernard for the 2018-2019 winter. Which
Anything,
is
Anthony?
for, what, $800 or something like that?
$1,300.
$1,300, okay.
Make a motion to approve the 2080 agreement per the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries, resolution is approved. Communications, proof of publications for zoning cases. Do we have any? I don't think we do. Next we have a letter, resignation letter from a Center Township clerk from George Hellert.
Make a motion to accept the resignation and send a thank you note to Mr. Hellert.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next communication is Dubuque County Conservation Fiscal Year 18 Annual Report. I don't think Brian's here. I don't think he's gonna comment on it. It was a wonderful looking report. A couple of the pictures got some issues, but it's all right.
Make a motion to receive and file.
Second.
We have a motion to receive and file, and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We have a notice from the city of Dubuque regarding the Urban Renewal Area Plan Amendment.
Make a motion to receive and file.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to receive and file. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Appointments. No ones that we're looking for at this point. Why are the notice of
There's-
vacancies, are those the ones that are vacant right now that we're looking for? So yeah, we are looking for one person to be on the Historic Preservation Commission. We also are looking for, we have a notice for a township clerk and trustee. Is that with the resignation that we're looking for that, or is?
Yeah, these are the ones that she's just posted.
Well, I'm reading off the one that's listed as one on there. So what's the highlighted ones?
What that is that Tracy just posted the new vacancy for those. Those are,
And that's why they're highlighted?
that's why they're highlighted. Otherwise,
Okay.
they're all vacancies.
Got it.
And
Okay.
one means that that's the first time they've been posted, right?
Is that what that is?
Correct.
Oh,
Okay.
it doesn't mean one person.
Correct. It's the first time it's been posted.
First time it's been posted. Okay, my
The
bad.
gender balance.
My bad. They're all vacancies and I won't read them all. I thought there was only the highlighted ones. Okay, any personnel requisitions? None? Any tabled or pending new items other than the ones we hit? Okay, public comments. At this time, anyone may address the board or matters which they are concerned to that person which are not on the agenda. Please go to the podium, state your name and home address, make your comments. However, no formal action on your comments may be taken at this time because of the notice requirements. So we are in public hearing, or excuse me, we're in public section. Anyone like to speak? Good question. So that wasn't part of the amendment, wasn't part of the motion, but as I was indicating, I'd like to just get the conservation to look at it, review, see what they think.
Are you guys available tomorrow?
That's not the board, by the way. That's Brian. He's the director.
But I'm doing a tour with Brian tomorrow. If you guys are available, we could come out. Why don't we exchange numbers here? And I'll make sure that we come there and I have Brian look at it.
I would like his board to review it. I'd like his board to be
Okay.
asked and answered
But-
if they have any interest.
Okay.
I
But
don't like
would-
single people dictating public
Okay.
policy.
All right, I understand that, but it might expedite to have Brian look
I
at it.
think he should obviously be educated on it, but I
Okay.
do, my
That
request
would
is
be
to
my
his,
intent
my
tomorrow.
request is to present it to his board and have
Understand.
them formally
Okay.
vote and say yes, no, that they're interested.
And he
All
said
right.
they're meeting on the 20th of December.
All right. But I'm meeting him at 8 o'clock. I'll get your number, you take my card, and I'll call you as soon as I meet with him and find out what time we're gonna get in there, yeah. But we won't make any decisions, I just want him to look at it. Obviously,
Clear.
this is a 3-person board, so
And,
it's just coincidence that I'm doing a tour with him
yeah,
tomorrow.
oh, that's
so.
wonderful. No, I think certainly having me familiar in that.
Motion to adjourn.
I think we are there. So we have a motion to adjourn. I will second it. We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are in adjournment. Thank you.